Hello again, I'm Bao, because after sharing my journey through the archetypes with you, many of you wrote asking, okay, all of this is beautiful, but in practice, how do I understand which archetype I'm living? How do I apply these teachings when I'm stuck in traffic or arguing with my teenage son? And you're right. Theory is fascinating, but without practical application, it remains just a nice intellectual exercise. Today, I want exactly this, to give you concrete tools, real life examples, situations where you can recognize archetypes in action, and especially how to use them to transform your daily life. Because you see, archetypes aren't abstract concepts to study. They're living forces that act within us every single day, in every choice we make, in every reaction we have. The difference between those who use them consciously and those who don't is like the difference between driving a car, knowing where you're going, or being a passenger without a map. Let's start with the innocent. I'll give you a practical example I experienced it just last week. I'm at the supermarket at the checkout. The cashier makes a mistake scanning a product and charges me double. My first impulse, that cynical one I had developed over the years, was, she did it on purpose to rip me off. But then I stopped. I breathed and I thought, am I activating the evolved innocent or the wounded one? The wounded innocent sees betrayals everywhere. It's what makes you say, you can't trust anyone. The evolved innocent maintains trust, but with discernment. So I simply pointed out the error kindly. The girl apologized, corrected it, and even smiled, thanking me for my patience. Here's the practical difference. The wounded innocent would have made me verbally attack the cashier, ruining my day and hers. The evolved innocent allowed me to resolve the situation while maintaining humanity. Practical exercise. This week, when someone makes a mistake that affects you, stop before reacting. Ask yourself, am I seeing bad faith where there's only human distraction? Try to give the benefit of the doubt. Notice how your energy changes and the other person's response. Now let's talk about the orphan, because this archetype is the king of offices and work relationships. Marco, a friend of mine, said, my boss doesn't value me. He always assigns interesting projects to others. Simple. Classic orphan. He felt like a victim abandoned by the system. I asked him, when was the last time you actively proposed a project instead of waiting for one to be assigned to you? Silence. Marco was waiting to be saved, noticed, chosen. But the evolved orphan doesn't wait. He acts. The following week, Marco asked for a meeting with his boss and proposed an idea. The boss said yes. He wasn't mean or uninterested. He simply didn't know that Marco wanted more responsibility. For young people, if your parents treat you like a child, ask yourself, are you demonstrating with your actions that you're responsible? Or are you waiting for them to understand that you've grown up? The evolved orphan shows their autonomy through actions, not just complaining with words. Practical exercise. Identify an area of your life where you feel like a victim. Write 3 concrete actions you can take this week to regain control. Even small actions count. Cleaning your room, paying a bill early, asking for that difficult conversation you've been postponing. Typical scene, I'm in the car, some guy cuts me off dangerously. My inner warrior explodes. I want to yell, honk the horn endlessly, maybe even pass him to show him. Old me. I did it. I'd arrive at my destination with adrenaline through the roof and mood in the gutter. New me, I recognize the warrior being activated and ask him, is this battle worth your peace? The wise warrior chooses his battles. That idiot driver doesn't deserve my energy. I breathe, let him go, and direct that drive towards something that matters. When I get to the office, I use that energy to tackle that difficult conversation I'd been postponing for weeks. For women, how many times have we swallowed our anger because it's not ladylike to get angry? The feminine warrior isn't violence, it's assertiveness. It's saying, no, this doesn't work for me without apologizing. Try this week to say a clear no without endless justifications. Just, no, thank you, it's not for me. Period. At a practical exercise. When you feel anger rising, stop. Put a hand on your chest, breathe 3 times, then ask yourself, does this make me angry because it's truly important or because I'm releasing accumulated stress? If it's important, act calmly. If it's not, let it go. Lucia, my sister, is the caregiver par excellence. She helps everyone. Her elderly mother, colleagues who don't finish their work, friends in crisis, neighbors who always have an emergency. And then she cries at night because she's exhausted and no one ever thinks of her. I asked her this question. When you help, do you do it from free love or from fear that otherwise they won't love you? Silence. Then tears, because she understood she was buying love with her infinite availability. The evolved caregiver helps from fullness, not from emptiness. I taught Lucia to do this. Before saying yes to a request, stop for 10 seconds and feel your body. If the body contracts, if the stomach tightens, the answer is no. If the body opens, if you feel genuine pleasure in helping, the answer is yes. She started saying no. The first times were terrifying. But guess what? People didn't abandon her. Some got angry, yes, but they were the ones who were exploiting her. True friends respected her boundaries. For parents, how many of you sacrifice yourselves completely for your children, forgetting yourselves? The caregiver tells you, if you empty yourself, what do you give your children? An empty shell and resentment. Take an hour a week just for yourselves. It's not selfishness. It's nourishment you can then share. Practical exercise. This week, say no to at least one request that would drain you. Or observe what happens. Notice your fears. What if? And verify if they actually come true. Julia is 25 years old and lost. She doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. She's tried 3 different universities, 2 jobs, 1,000 hobbies. I can't find my path, she tells me that desperately. I answered her, you're looking outside for something you can only find inside. The modern seeker is bombarded with options. Yoga course, master's degree, trip to India, new job. But as long as you search outside, you keep going in circles. I gave Julia this exercise. Every evening for 10 minutes, sit in silence. No music, no phone, just you and your breath. And listen, not with your mind, with your body. What makes you vibrate? When you talk about what, do your eyes light up? After 3 weeks, Julia called. I got it. When I talk about helping children with learning difficulties, I feel something here. And she touched her chest. Everything else was in my head. This is in my heart for young people. I know you feel pressured to choose what to be when you grow up. The seeker tells you don't have to have it all figured out at 18. Explore. Try different things. But every now and then turn off Netflix and notifications and listen to what your inner self tells you. Yeah, the answer is there, but it speaks softly. Practical exercise. Try the 10 minutes of silence technique for a week. Then write, if money wasn't a problem and no one judged me, what would I do tomorrow? The first answer that comes without censorship is often the true one. David is 32 years old and jumps from one relationship to another. When I'm single, I feel like I'm dying, he confesses. Classic unevolved lover seeking completeness in another. I had him do a radical experiment. 3 months without looking for anyone. 0 dating apps, 0 new romantic connections, just him with himself. But I'll die of loneliness, he protested. Exactly, Avikshu, I replied. You need to go through that fear to discover you survive. After the first month, David started going out alone. Movies, restaurants, walks. At first, he felt strange, judged. Then he started enjoying his own company. By the third month, he told me, for the first time, I don't desperately need someone. And you know what? Now that I'm not looking, people seek me out. It's like they can feel the difference. For everyone, do this test. Take yourself on a date. Go to the restaurant you like alone. Buy flowers for yourself. Write a love letter to yourself. Does it seem ridiculous? Try it. Because if you don't know how to be with yourself, no one else can fill that void. Practical exercise. Every morning, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. At first, it will seem absurd. Persevere. It's like watering a seed. It takes time to see the flower. Elena was clinging to a job she hated. But I have 15 years of seniority. I can't start over from scratch. She was afraid of the destroyer, of what would happen if she let go of security. Then the company closed. Collective layoff. Elena was devastated. But after 6 months, she called me. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I found a job I love. If they hadn't forced me, I would never have had the courage. The destroyer is that force that demolishes what we no longer need. Sometimes it acts through external events, job loss as an end of a relationship. Sometimes we must consciously activate it ourselves. Practical questions. Look at your life. Is there something you know you need to let go of, but don't have the courage? A toxic friendship? A destructive habit? A house too big that you can no longer maintain? The destroyer is calling you. Practical exercise. Do some cleaning. Choose a drawer, a closet, your phone. Throw away. Delete. Free up space. It's a symbolic but powerful exercise. When you free physical space, you free inner space for the new. How many times do we say, oh, my job sucks, if my relationship doesn't work, my life is a disaster? We're all good at complaining. The creator tells us, okay, and now what are you creating? Stefano hated his clerk job. He complained every day. I asked him, what are your options? He started listing excuses. I stopped him. No, concrete options. What can you create? He started. I could look for another job. I could take a course to change sectors. I could start my own business. I could talk to my boss to modify my duties. 4 concrete options where before he saw only a wall. He chose the 4th. He talked to his boss. In 3 months, he redesigned his role. Same salary, different duties, totally different satisfaction. For everyone, stop saying, I can. Say instead, I could if... it's a small but revolutionary language change. I can't change jobs becomes, I could change jobs if I saved for 6 months as a safety net. Boom! From victim to creator. A practical exercise. Oh, it's like, take a problem you have, write 10 possible solutions. It doesn't matter if they're realistic. Write 10. This activates the creator within you and shows you that options always exist. So how do you know which archetype you're embodying at any given moment? Here's the magic question I use. What is my deep motivation in this moment? If you're holding back from trusting, wounded innocent. If you're complaining without acting, orphan. If you're attacking yourself or others, misdirected warrior. If you're always saying yes while exhausted, codependent caregiver. If you're seeking something outside that's missing inside, seeker or lover. If you're clinging to something you know you must release, resistance to the destroyer. If you feel powerless, lack of creator or ruler, better ruler. If you judge everything, and lack of sage/magician. Here's the truth. Work on archetypes isn't something you do once and then you're done. It's a daily exercise. Every day you wake up and have the possibility to consciously choose which archetype to activate. This morning, I needed the warrior for that difficult phone conversation. In the afternoon, I activated the caregiver to console my daughter who had fought with a friend. Tonight, I'll be in the sage to observe my thoughts without judging. The difference is that now I do it consciously. I know which tool to use from the toolbox. Before I was at the mercy of automatic reactions. I'll leave you with this daily practice I use. Morning. Upon waking, ask, which archetype do I need today? Evening. Before sleeping, reflect. Which archetype did I embody today? Did it serve me? How could I have done differently? This simple exercise, done every day, transforms your life. More than 8,000 books read it and not applied. The journey has begun. Now you know not only the theory, but also how to apply it in traffic, at the office, at the home, in your head, when you argue with yourself at 3 a.m. Archetypes aren't in heaven. They're in your daily life. Open your eyes and you'll see they've always been there, waiting to be recognized and used with awareness. This episode's journey also concludes. It's not an ending, but just a stop that marks another stage in our journey of inner improvement.